time, I have a brief introduction of each candidate that you will hear from and how they plan to improve our community. I'm going to introduce them in alphabetical order by last name. Number one is Johnny Few. He is the incumbent, and he's panelist number one. He is a graduate of Augusta Technical College and the American Baptist Theological Seminary. He is retired from Georgia Power after 35 years. A former U.S. Marine Corps veteran, he is a current veteran, former U.S. Marine Corps, and associate pastor of Mount Moriah Baptist Church. He was appointed interim commissioner for District 5 last December. He is former vice president of the Richmond County Neighborhood Alliance Association and former president of the Bell Terrace Neighborhood Association. Bernard Harper is qualified candidate panelist number 2. And Kelby Walker is qualified candidate panelist number 3. Dr. Bobby Williams is qualified candidate panelist number 4. He has a doctorate of education and EDD from Argosy University, education specialist from Argosy, master's in education from Cambridge College, and a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice from Savannah State University. He is a retired high school principal with 30 years of experience as an educator and leader in the Georgia school system, serving Richmond and Burke counties. He has served in different roles as director, principal, and teacher during his career. He is currently chair of the board for Medical Associates Plus. He is a member of the board of the Augusta Classic, past president of Kappa Alpha Psi, board member of Kappa Foundation, and past president of the Panhellenic Council. All right, this is not a debate, so as I said, no rebuttals, but we've got 4 questions that we are going to pose the candidates that have been developed by the Richmond County Neighborhood Alliance and the CSRA League of Women Voters Committee. I will take 1 minute to address questions to the panel. Candidates may use 2 minutes to answer and choose not to answer. Each candidate will have the opportunity to address the questions. No candidate, once again, can rebut a statement. We have 4 topics, and the first one I will start with, we're going in alphabetical order, and I will start with Johnny Few. And our first topic is on community development and revitalization. Community development and revitalization in South Augusta have been hot topics, not just lately, but for a while. What do you see as the future of economic development in South Augusta, and how can the city achieve this? And what projects do you support to encourage economic development and revitalization in the district? Johnny Few.
Can you repeat that question, please?
What do you see as the future of economic development in South Augusta? How can you see the city achieve it? And what projects do you support to encourage it?
The projects we see is in our community is more retail, more commercial buildings. As we can develop a retail surplus in our area, we can have better jobs, more jobs, and we could grow into a viable community where we can help each other out and continue to develop relationships with other districts in this city.
Okay. Mr. Harper.
Okay, to answer the question about community revitalization, number 1, it starts with beautification. I've always been a true believer that any businesses we bring in, we must have an economic impact for the city of Augusta. We have to improve new revenue streams for Augusta, so maybe we can get a break to lower the tax base on the citizens. We need, from Regency Mall coming all the way back, and not just in District 5 South Augusta, we do not have retail as far as sit-down restaurants. We lost a grocery store, Kroger's. So we must work in that area to try to get those things back initiated in the district. And also at the same time, what we have to keep in mind, that when we go out to bring a business in here, it's going to create high-paying jobs to put our people to work. And I say our people, all people. And that would also help your tax base to lower it, if possible, so you get a break on your tax base. Thank you.
Mr. Walker.
Revitalization. Well, as we see in the corridor of Peach Orchard Road, they came up with places like Verizon and Chick-fil-A and Krispy Kreme. We see all these places have been a success. Also, we talk about retail, and I agree, we must bring grocery stores back in our community. After 12 o'clock, there's only one grocery store to go to, and that's the neighborhood Walmart. Before then, everything closes. So I feel that retail, sit-down restaurants, following the model of Verizon, Chick-fil-A, Krispy Kreme, those are the things that we have to bring back, to bring back revitalization in South Augusta.
What do I want to see? I want to see the Regency Mall area beautified. We need something else done at the Regency Mall. I want to see those sidewalks down in our community. I want to see those mediums. Do you remember we had Kentucky Fried Chicken? We had Wendy's right out here, and then they put the mediums in the middle of the road. They disappeared after that, okay? Now, we need to make sure we do one thing, and that is that we create the vision. You said, how do we do this? We create the vision. One of the things I did effectively as a principal was that I wrote improvement plans, strategic plans. What I plan to do is to have a commissioner's district committee where I pull in the partners in the community, pull in the people that have the tentacles that can partnership with people who have the money, who can bring in the businesses, who can help us bring back and beautify and revitalize South Augusta. We have to unify. We have to be together. We need to sit down, write a plan. We have to work with the other commissioners. We're going to have to work with the construction companies, the people who have the money, get them to come out here, be a part of our committee, help us to write our plan, help us to do what we need to do here in South Augusta. I think we can do it, but it's going to take one unified South Augusta in order to do it. Not just a commissioner, but a committee of people. We may have to fill the commission chambers. We may have to write some letters. We may have to go out, I don't know, the people who, and I haven't researched this yet, who own the Regency Mall area. I think they're in New York somewhere. We may have to get on the airplane and fly to New York and sit down with these people to get that done. We can get it done, but we're going to have to get up. We're going to have to get up. We're going to have to work together and do it.
All right. The second question, we're going to start with Bernard Harper as our first panelist to talk about. Housing, employment, and safety are major concerns that directly impact each other. How would you address the issue of safety in our district, specifically in relationship to police, EMS, firefighters?
When it comes to safety, I fully support law enforcement. We need to improve our ambulance service, our fire department, and the sheriff. Right now, what we have going on, we keep having a back and forth discussion with our ambulance service right now at present. Hopefully that'll get resolved once I get down there. But we also at the same time have to make sure that where we have areas where people feel there's crime, we have to bring the sheriff in. Now crime is down by, I think, 60 to 70% right now. Last year I think murders were slightly up. But what we have to do is start a dialogue with the sheriff. I don't care if it's a weekly basis, a daily or monthly, where the citizens can come out and address their concerns to try to take care of their community. You can't stop crime because it can happen at any time, but you can do a lot to curtail it. So I think that's our best avenue to make sure we start a dialogue between the community and the sheriff, I'm 100% for community policing. My community policing is much different than everybody else's. My community policing is getting people out of seats and putting them on the streets. That way everybody know everybody. That's how I came up. You know the cop, he know you. Now you just see him drive by. And then he got a lot of distance to cover in the drive-by. So I think we need to work closely with the sheriff's department. We need to get this ambulance situation under control and support also our fire department, the rank and file members of the fire department. Thank you.
What we have to do as far as safety, we have to develop a relationship with the citizens in Augusta and the police department. We have to create and rewrite that narrative. There's so much distrust between the community and the police department it's unreal. So I say that we form relationships. We talk about community, going back to community development. It has to be equality, equal justice, and mutual respect. We have to get ordinary people like ourselves and get them with people that are in power so they can understand the issues of today. So that's my take on that. Safety, as far as the EMS, the ambulance service, I think we have to work with them. I think there's been a lot of chaos going on with the EMS and the ambulance service going on in Augusta, and we have to correct that.
Again, what do we need to do? I go back to the plan that I talked about. All of that would be in the plan. Now, what do we need to do? We need to form our neighborhood watch, and we need to make sure that the neighborhood watch is active. We need to be up on the trends. So as far as the neighborhood association is concerned, when we bring the policemen in to talk with the policemen at the neighborhood meetings, we need to see the data as to where the crime is, what's being done, and what can we do? Where can the police be located? It is about relationships. It's all about relationships. We need to make sure that we cultivate that relationship with the police department. As commissioner, I would go sit down with Chief Few, talk with him. What is it that we could do to better what it is that we need to do in our neighborhood? As far as the EMS is concerned, as principal, I keep going back to my experience as principal. We have to make sure in our neighborhoods that we communicate with each other and we look out for each other. Crime Watch is not just for crime, it's also for general safety and care of each other. So if something is happening over at Ms. Betty's house over there, there should be a plan right there in that neighborhood, and we need to cultivate that with the commissioner as well as the neighborhood association.
Thank you. What I see in crime is that we need to support our sheriff department, we need to support our marshal department, and we need to support all the entities that we have to help us correct our neighborhoods and keep us safe. We need the marshal department so they can go out and take care of all the blighted property that we have, abandoned houses, the cars in the backyard, make our area look beautiful, so that people will want to come and live in our neighborhood. And this is what we need to do. We need to get the sheriff, and we need to get comfortable with the sheriff. So what we can do is we can call him when we need him, or when we have suspicions or something. We need to support him. And as a commissioner, I plan to give him all the support that I can. I plan to get with the other commissioners and talk with them and see what we can do, because when I help commissioner in the 4th district, I can help commissioner in the 6th district. And if I can help commissioner in the 6th district, they can help me. So what I want to do is galvanize our communities so that we can let the police work efficiently at their job. Also the marshal department, so that when they come out, they want to ask who is our neighbor, they will know. And we will always be able to get some help from them, and we'll be able to support them. Thank you.
All right, our third question be addressed for the county as a whole, especially related to our aging and disabled population that make up a large part of District 5. Long routes, limited schedules, and limited numbers of bus stops have been noted as issues. What ideas do you have to increase accessible and affordable transportation throughout the county, and how would you create public-private partnerships to address the issue?
Well, one of the first things we have to do is extend the routes as public transportation. I don't think it goes far enough. There are places here in Augusta where housing development, where people are needing rides to doctor's visits, the grocery store, the bank, and our transportation, our routes are just not going far enough to reach these people. I feel like our public transportation has to compete with the Ubers and the Lyfts of the world, because a lot of people can't afford to use an Uber. They can't afford to use a Lyft. So we have to do that. We have to extend our routes. We have to have the transportation go for longer hours. And what was that other question, ma'am? I'm sorry.
How do you create public-private partnerships?
Well, public-private partnership, we have to talk with people in business and people that are outside of the scope of Augusta, because that's how you lure people here when you're talking about transportation. If you have a viable transportation, you have people that are willing to relocate their people here in CSRA in Augusta, Georgia.
All right, let's think outside the box. We have buses, and the buses will take us just about anywhere we want to go to. However, I'm jealous. I go to places like Atlanta. What do they have? The monorail. Why can't we create something that crisscrosses Augusta, Georgia, and take us downtown, or take us out to the mall area, or even Fort Gordon if we need to? So I think we need to create some type of monorail, some type of railway system that will expand and get Augusta, Georgia outside of that box. We're the box. We need thinkers down at the county commission who are outside of the box. So I'm in support of monorail. Of course, we talk about public-private partnerships. Of course, you're going to have situations where we may have some monetary needs that may have to come from some private people. So we may have to get some people who may not be a part of the county commission or just regular public people or what have you, but reaching to some of those companies to give us some donations and or just build it for us. I don't know. Reaching out may help us. Thank you.
Our transportation is comes out to a certain point and it stops, but we still have transportation in South Augusta. We have transportation where you can call, you can go to the Georgia website, Augusta website, and you can look on there and there's a number you can call and they will come to your house and pick you up and take you to your destination, and they will come back and pick you up. So we have transit in South Augusta. What we need to do is we need to use it. We need to call them. We have two types. One type is for people who can't hardly move in wheelchairs and old stretchers and all. We need to get those people. You need to call the transit to get them. So what we can do is we can use these things. Now, I agree with Bobby that we need rails, but we can't wait that long. I won't be here that long. You know, so I need something right now. I need something to get me around town right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on the phone. I'm going to learn all the avenues of transportation that we have in our city. And this is what we want to do. We want to stop. We want to stop the complaining about we can't get to here and we can't get to there when we don't use things that are already before us. Thank you.
Okay, when it comes to transportation, we are the #2 city in the state, but we don't act like it or think like it. I would like to see a high-speed bullet train running from Savannah to Atlanta. Okay, stopping in Augusta. Anytime you drive down the road, you see trains. You gotta wait for the train, you gotta wait for the train, yet there's no passenger trains. Okay, but you're waiting for trains, you're late for work, you're late for lunch. We need a high-speed rail system running from Savannah to Atlanta that can get you there quick. Okay, right now you have I-20, Greyhound, or you may call a Uber if you can afford for them to take you up there. Locally, we need to partner up with our businesses and make sure we can expand bus routes, first of all. I know there was an experimental program in South Augusta trying to run buses from South Augusta to the mall. That didn't fare well. We need to revisit it, did it at a cost, it's not so high for the taxpayer, and see what we can do. But see, what you gotta understand, when South Augusta was put together, it didn't call for buses. It didn't call for buses. Now you may want buses out there, but South Augusta was not called for buses when this was put together. Okay, so we have to get a consensus among the people. If that's what you want to try, that's what we have to put together and work on. But also come to the understanding of this. We have seniors that can't get on the bus, or they're stopped at a certain time. We have to make sure they're number one. We have to make sure people with disabilities are number one. We have to work in that area to improve ourselves. Thank you.
All right. Our last question has to deal with challenges. What are the most important challenges facing the 5th District, and how do you propose addressing them? How do you see yourself working with other commissioners to address these issues? And we will start with Bobby Williams.
I think the biggest challenge is not the projects. We want to see the improvement of the Regency Mall area. We want to see beautification. We want to see restaurants come back to this area. We want to see family-oriented restaurants, businesses, what have you. I think the biggest challenge is for all of us to unify together behind one vision. And one thing that I have learned is that as a commissioner, I have a vision of what I want when and if voted in as commissioner. But as I talked about, and I go back to my plan, I learned that it's not just my vision, but what is the vision of the community. So when your vision meets mine, and we put some effort behind it, and we put some energy behind it, and we get to working, and we write letters, and all the letters say the same thing towards going to the same person to address a situation, we are moving together in one direction with one vision, unified, and then we can get something done. We can get the Regency Mall changed. We can get the sidewalks we want. We can get the restaurants we want. We can get everything we want if we're unified. So the biggest challenge is being unified. And the first thing that I said was that I would create a commissioners committee, would bring to the table stakeholders from the community and partners, talk about what it is that we want together, working with the county commissioner, working with the mayor, working with people in the community, reaching out to those tentacles in the community that can help us move forward.
The challenges of our District 5. We have blighted areas. We have some houses that need to be taken care of. The challenges is getting those buildings taken care of and get them beautified where we can have people moving in them and to keep our community viable. We need sidewalks in our community. We need better drainage system in our community. We need all these things in our community. But unless we come together and we work with each other, we're not going to make it. If I can work with the commissioners downtown and get them to buy into helping me, and I help them, then we can accomplish a whole lot. But if we do not, as a community, we won't grow. I always refer to the man who likes to, he wants to go fast, but he's still driving a horse and buggy. See, if you're still driving a horse and buggy, you're not gonna break any speed limits. So what we need to do is we need to break the old mindset and then move on and become a viable community where we can take on these challenges that come before us and be a beautified community with the type of houses and type of roads that we need. Thank you.
Mr. Harper.
Some of the challenges I see faced in Augusta and District 5, we do have to get a handle on the blighted areas. We need to improve street lighting, sidewalks, but at the same time, we need to work to make sure we have fully funded programs. Meal on Wheels, wellness centers, senior activities, more funding for youth activities, more funding for after-school programs and aftercare. We say the children are our future, but we're leaving them behind. You know, things that they vitally need, that's what we need to be concentrating on. And so, if successful and I'm elected, that's one of the things I hope to do. Thank you.
I believe the biggest challenge is get people to invest in our community and believing in our community. Where you've seen not too long ago where there was a sting done in 30906, and I think it put a black cloud over our community. Because a few bad apples don't spoil the whole tree. And I challenge that because our community is viable, it's great, and there's some great citizens that's sitting right here in District 5. So I think our biggest challenge is rewriting the narrative, getting people to believe and invest in our community, bringing back small businesses. You know, small businesses drive over half the jobs in America. So we have to get people to reinvest in this community, bring back small business, and rewrite the narrative. I think that's our biggest challenges in District 5.
All right, we're running a little early, so I have a couple of questions. One of the things that, when y'all were answering that about the public transportation, one of the things I noticed is I didn't see how you said we were more safety. How? The question was how. You said we need to support our police and our marshals and our EMS, but I didn't hear anyone say specifically how you would go about doing that. So, Mr. Few, could you address that?
Yes, I'm going to put all the effort I can in supporting the sheriff's department by giving them what we can of resources that we have to help them do their job. We need more people. We need more deputies. So if we can, we need to help them get enough money so they can hire deputies. If they need more cars, we need to get behind them and make sure that they have the vehicles or the equipment they need to serve our community. This is the way we're going to help them. I can't do it all by myself. It takes all of us to get behind the sheriff's department and help them do their job. We cannot sit back and expect the sheriff's department to do everything for us. We, as a community, will have to get out and do some of policing ourselves, and we can help the sheriff's department clean up our neighborhood. And I think that if you elect me, I can do that. I can galvanize the leaders of the community together, and we can go out and we can help people.
Mr. Harper.
One of the main things that I have an issue with is that we don't have enough community involvement. Things can happen to be done. You get brought in after the fact. You have no voice on it. Okay, yes, we need to work with the sheriff's department. We need to fully fund the sheriff's department. But we got to know where our dollars are going. Okay, yeah, we can hire more deputies. I drive all over town. I see sheriff cars from Richmond County parked in this county, parked in that county. Okay, They can live, I guess. They don't have any ordinance on them that they have to be from Richmond County. But at the same time, you make money in Richmond County, your dollar should be spent in Richmond County. Now when it comes to the ambulance service, I heard a figure thrown out the other day that an ambulance ride is $1,150 plus mileage. You cheaper getting in an Uber and have somebody put a Tylenol in your pocket, because that's probably about $50 for that pill. See, so it's a lot of things we need to take a look at instead of just having it thrown at us. The community has to be involved in a lot of things. Don't make a decision for me and I can't have a word in on that decision. Because after you make it, be it right or wrong, I'm stuck with it. And that's something we got to work better with. In the fire department, same way. I'm fully behind the fire department. But I don't want money just wasted. Put the money where it actually needs to go to provide the citizens adequate fire service. And then I'm quite sure everybody will be happy with that. But don't make a call and you got to wait 2 hours for a response. Because the safety is very important. So I just hope moving forward that we can get a dialogue established where the community has input, not output. Thank you.
Mr. Walker.
Can you repeat the question?
The question was, one of the things that I said was, how would you address the issue of safety? And I didn't hear how. I heard a lot of people saying that you support the fire and the EMS and the police, but I didn't hear how you would actually support them.
How we would actually support? Well,
As commissioner.
as commissioner, well, like I said, pretty much funding them. Funding what they need, their resources, engaging with them, having a dialogue. I think instead of, we need to talk with each other, instead of at each other. And so I feel like that some of the safety issues that we have in the community have to be identified. What is it? Is it drugs? Is it prostitution? Is it blight? What have you? And once we identify, and you have resources, you understand, the sheriff understands, then we can move forward. I think we have to identify the problems. That's the only way we can solve the issue and get to this level of safety.
I think they all said it. Of course, if you expect people to work and be effective, you have to make sure they're taken care of. It's not just money, it's health care, it's everything that goes into making a person an effective police officer or EMS or what have you. What I mean by that is that you don't want a police department where you have people who feel like they're underpaid and they don't happily want to go to work, so you're not going to have them in your community because they're not going to work, or they're working somewhere else trying to make some extra money, so if they do go to work, maybe they're tired. But we have to make sure that these people are taken care of, that health care, that they're paid effectively, and making sure that they don't just leave and go to Columbia County, go to Burke County, go to Aiken or somewhere and leave them short. Because when they leave, then of course, I guess the sheriff has to make some provisions to cover where these people probably would cover. So let's just make sure that we take care of the people that take care of us.
Thank you very much. All right. This is time when the audience has a chance to do 3 to 4 questions. Sharonda will have the mic. We have a mic for that? Yeah, we're going to have to go back and forth. We only have 2 mics. So what we will do is, if you are interested, please come up the front, this middle aisle. It will be first come. So we will do that. And Sharonda, you are handling the mic. Okay. Okay. So whoever she addresses would then come here to the podium. Make sense? All right. So questions are permitted from the floor during this question and answer session. It's going to be a time response. So each question will receive a 3-minute ask and response time to keep to the agenda, although we're running a little bit early, so we're good. Questioners are asked to state your name, the street you live on, and indicate to whom you are addressing, and they will be screened if we feel that they are not appropriate.
My name is Ella Butcher. I live on Deansbridge Road, and this question is directed to Johnny Few. I have a question, kind of question, and probably gonna be a little comment with the question. I would like to know, how can the citizens trust you as a commissioner coming in, making decisions on someone's livelihood, their job description, after being in place of 20 years as a new commissioner, when you have no understanding of the criteria for that particular person? What I'm asking is that you voted on a 20-year human resources director job as 2 weeks of coming in as a commissioner, not knowing anything about this particular person.
Excuse me, this sounds like it's more of an appropriate.
Okay, well, I'm asking, how can the people trust him to make good decisions as first coming on when you don't know about a decision to make the person to make a decision? How can the citizen trust him of making accurate decisions?
Okay, my understanding and rephrasing the question is that you're asking him how we can trust the District 5 voters, how they can trust him to make decisions when he is newly on the board, on the commission. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, on that, in reference to something that had taken place prior to him becoming the commissioner, that has been on the commissioner as a short period of time, not knowing all the facts of what he was voting on.
Thank
All right.
you. Well, can we ask another question? Because I don't know if we.
We understand he voted on.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, can I ask? Yes. Being that you are sitting in a position as a commissioner, do you feel that that gives you an advantage? If so, how over the other candidates?
Yes,
One second, sir. Please state your name, the street you live on, and to whom you were addressing the question.
My name is Annette Thurman. I live on Shadow Moss Court. And that question is for Commissioner Few.
Yes, I feel that it gives me an advantage, because I'm sitting on the commission now. I make decisions now. I vote on situations. And I am handling things like today with the tier, where our roads and everything get their funding from. And so, yes, I have an advantage by knowing some of the things and that's happening there that maybe someone else doesn't know.
Hi, my name is Chris Carter. I live on Bellmead Drive. My question is for Dr. Williams. I like your ideas about thinking outside the box, because we live in an outside the box world right now, and in my perspective, traditional approaches don't work. So my specific question is, how will current accurate data inform your resource allocation, distribution, decision-making, strategic planning? Heard a lot of wonderful ideas. I haven't heard anyone speak to the fact that their decisions are based in data. What's the data telling me is really going on, not what I think?
And true, and that would be some of the research that we will have to do. Remember I said I would form a district committee, and that would be one of the first things that we would have to do. We have to look at the data, look at what it tells us. We have to look at the funding, see where the funding takes us. Now, just like the lady addressed Commissioner Few just a minute ago, his advantage is that he's already on the committee. I'm not. However, if elected, that'll be one of the first things that we do. We have to look at the data, of course, look at what we want to do. Where does it take us? Where does the funding take us? Or should I say, where is the funding stream? So that's a question that I can't answer, but can't fully answer at this point in time. However, I'm an expert at looking at data, and making strategic plans, making improvement plans. I've done that all my career for 31 years as a principal. I wrote a plan when I was at Glen Hills High School called the Cohort Monitoring Plan. It is right now on the Georgia DOE website. You can go and look it up, Glen Hills High School Cohort Monitoring Plan. That is still on the Georgia DOE website as an exemplar for the entire state of Georgia. And I can do it for this community also. And let me give you something, specifics of it. What we did was that we looked at every child's behavior, should I say discipline record, looked at every child's grades, looked at every child's attendance after every progress report, after every report card. And what we did away with, and it's a long story, we did away with traditional grades, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, what have you. We went to cohorts. So you stayed with, and I'll have to explain some other time, but you stayed with the kids that you came into school with. Let's say you came in with kids in 9th grade in 2001. So you were in cohort 2001. And regardless of what you did, whether you made enough credits to go to the next grade or not, you went forward with those people. However, we put in place intervention plans for each of them to bring them up to par. So no child was left behind. We got rid of what you call retention and retained and promoted, and went with on track or off track. So we got rid of stigma with kids. So I just gave you that example to say that I can write the plan for this district also.
Hi, my name is Jeray Jenkins, and I live on Thomas Lane. So I have like a dual question. I don't care which commissioner, soon-to-be commissioner, asked the question. Now, I heard a lot of times y'all talked about crime in District 5, in which I live in. So my question is, with South Augusta changing so much, and you have a lot of revitalization coming down from downtown, you have a lot of people that are coming from poor areas, housing projects coming into South Augusta. I didn't really hear, like you said, a plan on what we do to make sure South Augusta is safe. I also wanted to know, like, about the road issues. Windsor Spring Road took 30 years to fix. So, with that being said, you're talking about bringing different places to South Augusta. What are you going to do about the roads? Because I can't see another 30 years of Wrightsboro Road taking to be fixed, and I'm not going to call dominoes to fix it. Part two. There's issues downtown where we have a lot of things about paying to park. How do you feel about people having to pay to park when there's basically, like we say, nothing to do?
All right.
As far as the parking lot.
Let's work on one question at a time.
Okay.
All right.
Can I just please say this last thing about the parking lots? So I see that a lot of times, we went through all that thing with the municipal building, getting everything set up. When I go to the municipal building, there's nowhere to park. I'm crossing a train, like you said, taking another 20 minutes to get to the municipal building. With all this revitalization, what are we doing with the funding to get parking decks, real parking decks for us, besides paying $2 and $5 and $6 to park downtown for nothing?
Which one would you like?
All right.
All of them.
Okay. So,
Look, moderated.
From what I understood, the biggest one that I pulled out of what you had was that addressing road infrastructure.
Road infrastructure and crime.
Yeah.
Where I live at, it's kind of quiet, but still, we have a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with, like being on housing. I've had it myself. You know what I'm saying? But my issue is, what are you going to do when you have people coming in that aren't prepared to live in different neighborhoods? And then when I go on Zillow to look for a house, I'm looking for 1 through 5. So how are we going to change South Augusta without just saying, oh, we need to be unified on the commission? That's not the answer.
All right. So let's address first. The first one that I have not heard discussed was the road infrastructure. And how does that impact the retail development and all the economic development that y'all have said that we need to have? We talked about Peach Orchard Road. She talked about Wrightsboro Road. Gordon Highway is dead. How do you perceive road infrastructure, and how are we going to change that? Let's start with Kelby Walker. Would you like to come over here?
Yeah.
I think road infrastructure is very important. As she stated, and if you go down the Rice Road corridor from Augusta Mall going to downtown, it's very bumpy. The roads are tore up, and it'll tear your car up. Mess around and tear you up. It is very, very bad. So how do we address that? You know, we look at SPLOS, and you know, those SPLOS dollars are allocated to fix those roads. Winter Spring Road, Jackson Road, Rice Road, all these roads are in the SPLOS packages to be fixed or have been. And the other question she asked about crime, you know, you can't get around with just engaging with police officers or the sheriff department. You have to get your community involved and be proactive and get them engaged with the police officers. That's the only way you deter crime. That's the only way you bring down crime, is having a community working together with the sheriff department.
Mr. Harper.
I'll address the infrastructure first. Infrastructure gets GDOT, Georgia Department of Transportation. You may want to see a project done today. That's not the way it always goes. The commissions get together, public works get together. You know, we have projects that already allocated monies for. We take a ride up to Atlanta, we talk to the commissioner of GDOT, and see what we can get stuff done, what timetable they can get it done if they're going to do the work themselves. Winter Spring Road was done by GDOT. County had nothing to do with Winter Spring Road. It did take a long time, yes it did. But the money stayed on place to get the road done. They didn't take the money from that project and throw it down Walker Way or San Sebastian Way. They kept the money there for that project. So the wheels do turn, but they turn slow. But we have to keep working at it to try to get all these roads taken care of. Wrightsboro Road has problems. The back road has problems. Peach Orchard Road has problems. You got to address and prioritize which is the most important to try to get the stuff done with the money that we bring in. Concerning safety, we need to, like I said, we have to sit at the table with the sheriff's department when we work these things. We cannot just throw the issue out there and think it's going to take care of itself. Just like I got everybody in this meeting tonight, this way it should be when we got something on the table important to the community. You know, be it with the sheriff, be it with ambulance folks, anybody. We need input from the citizens before the fact, not after the fact. Okay, so thank you.
Dr. Williams.
It's funny that she should ask that question. I think none of us have mentioned Mr. Jefferson's name tonight. I've been on Kelby Drive since 1990. Well, my dad been in the neighborhood since 1965. Went to live at Kelby Drive all by myself in 1990. And the roads have never been paved. So I think it would be great if before moving on your own agenda that you look at what Mr. Jefferson was doing, because he had many roads paved. So I'm not sure if Winter Spring Road was on that list, but whoever takes his office needs to look at what he was doing and try to continue much of what he was doing also. I think I heard her say something about people moving into your neighborhood. Was that what she said, addressing safety? And remember I told you that I'm way outside the box, okay? You know, when you go out in Columbia County and some of these other great neighborhoods around, they have homeowner associations. Now, our neighborhoods are much older and we don't have the homeowners association. But I am in favor of doing some type of bill or some type of policy where we can retro something where people, when they buy homes in your neighborhood, that they have to sign something like a homeowners association type situation. So when they come in, if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, the homeowners association bill, and I don't know what we would call it right now, but they would have to adhere to it. And then we get those code enforcers out and help us with the enforcing of the homeowners association in the neighborhoods. You got Belmead for years. You know, Belmead, a great neighborhood, I'm sure where you live, a great neighborhood. But you have people moving into your neighborhoods now who don't know the history. And they do different things. You look at it like, wow, I can't really believe that they've done that. So there needs to be something in place when the people move into your neighborhoods, the renter, the rentee, what have you, they need to understand the history, and they need to have something that keeps them honest when it comes to code enforcement and what your particulars are in your neighborhood that will help with safety. So I have to stop.
I sympathize with the young lady that brought that question. We have people moving down the neighborhood that we sometimes criticize, and we don't go and talk to them about how much pride we have in our neighborhood. We need to start reaching out to those people, talking to them. I understand the same problem you have, I have the same problem. I have people moving in houses next to me and across the street from me, and they don't seem to understand the pride that we have in our yards. They don't understand how we try to take care of grass and how we don't want to park on the grass and everything. But what we need to do as a neighborhood, we need to go out and meet these people and talk to them, and maybe sometimes let them use the lawnmower. Sometimes, because really, some of them doesn't have a lawnmower. And what we need to do is we need to take and come together with these people, let them know that we're their friend, not a criticizer. And we come out and let them do at least tell them we don't have a farm, they don't want to bring no hogs and no chickens and stuff like that. So make sure that we keep our neighborhood beautified and take care of everything. Thank you.
More question? All right. Street address, name, street, and whom you're addressing the question to.
My name is Shanna Carkle. I live at 3110 Belmead Drive. And the question is, I guess for all of them, or anyone who has a background in business, we haven't heard anybody talk about doing business in Augusta. Augusta, Georgia has a number of contracts that go out for bid each year. And what happens is the people come in and make money. And the guy, you know, we heard someone talk about SPLOST dollars. A lot of our SPLOST dollars go to contractors out of town. How can you guys create opportunities for local small businesses like myself who are registered, not just a promissory or a good faith, but how do you get people making money? Nobody's talking about making money. Everybody has grand ideas about doing fellowship and bringing people in, but nobody's talking about employing the people in the community. So how you guys want to do that?
All right, let's start with Mr. Harper. All right, so the question you're asking is, how do you, as commissioner, see bringing in employment opportunities for the local people, as opposed to having others come in from out of state or out of county?
Okay, that was a good question. First of all, with local businesses, I believe we still have the Cincinnati business. Just like, yeah. Okay, I feel you, because it's a lot of businesses, and you're not the first one to mention about they don't think they get a fair share of the pie in Augusta. We would have to do better. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna have to really take a look at it and see where it can be improvement made there. I'm not gonna just come here and stand before you and say we can do X, Y, Z when I know we can't. You know, I mean, I shoot from the hip, but like I said, no, I want to give you an honest answer for that. And so I would definitely research it. If you leave me know, I'll get back with you on it. See what can be done to help you out.
Mr. Walker.
Well, so been in business for myself over the last 16 years, and having employed up to almost to 8 people at a time, I understand that the importance of small business. And you know, I said that in my early introduction that small business run half the jobs in America. Now, as far as contracts and different things like that, I totally agree with you that, especially when it comes to minorities don't receive the contracts that I feel that they should. I feel also that we need to look in depth into that, why that minorities don't receive the contracts that they should. You have to just be an advocate for small business, like I am myself. I think that investment and investing in your community as a small business, it creates a creation of wealth. So, like I said, I'm a proponent of small business. I will encourage it. I will get out in front of it to draw to lure small businesses to District 5, and not only District 5, but Southwest.
Mr. Keesee.
To help the small business to get it going, to get a share of the pie, as you want to say. We got to put we got to make sure we got everything together. You say you are a member of the small business here in Augusta, and what we need to do is learn the procedure and getting these jobs, these commitments that we want to get. And what we need to do is we need to get familiar with the procedure that we have in place to get these jobs, get these opportunities. And so as we try to open our small business, I'm a proposal of proponent of getting out and searching the area to make sure that our business will work in that particular area. Do a canvas, do something that will help you understand material or product that you're going to have in that community. And I think if we take that approach, then I think we can get better opportunities in the city, get better opportunities in our neighborhoods, because we'll be going about we won't be selling what people don't want. We want to try to give people what they want in our neighborhood. Okay?
We got one more person.
Okay, I think it's as simple as saying when we start the bidding process as to whether or not we're going to go outside or whether or not we're going to stay in Augusta when it comes to the bidding process. But also we have to look at the project. And so if you have a company that can handle the project and we can stay within Augusta, Georgia, then I think we should. If not, then we may have to go outside. Remember I said, I'm always outside of the box. I've been out canvassing the neighborhoods and I've been looking. And you go down some roads in our neighborhood, in that part of the neighborhood it looks great. But you make a right turn and it doesn't look good. Or you make a left turn and it doesn't look good. And I'm telling you, we have a lot of empty homes. Or should I say houses, because a home has a family. We have a lot of empty houses in our neighborhoods. Now one thing that went through my head is why, years ago, city of Augusta had a rehab program. So why can't the city take control of those homes, buy those homes, and let's say we either flip them by selling them or taking control of them and renting them out to people who come into our neighborhoods. Let's think about it. Let's say if each home, let's say if we had 1,000 units and each home was $600 a month, that's $600,000 a month coming back into the city coffers, and then maybe taxes could go down some. So we just need to think outside the box, and then what it does, it gets some of the blight, the empty homes out of your neighborhoods, and then it helps out with taxes. You can spend on infrastructure and businesses and services.
All right, we have come to, that pretty much is the end of our